live again. So that's what happens for those who are on radio. We're on Facebook Live as well, so I let them experience what happens, what the radio listeners actually listen to. And I thought there's no point for our Facebook watchers, listeners and watchers, not to be able to experience that either. So I just had the same stuff going on Facebook rather than talk through it. Just to let them experience that's the radio show. But we're back. You now listen to IBGR Network, and you're watching it as well if you're on Facebook. IBGR is our call sign as a radio station, but we are much more than a radio station. We are a network of global entrepreneurs coming together to create a shared space for collaboration and business success. Yes, your success is important to us. And I'm your host, Jan Robberts, Global Influencer. This is episode 10 already, and if you hadn't been able to join us so far, what we're talking about this hour is your network is your net worth. You might have all heard that, but it's not your nightmare. At least it doesn't have to be. It's in the people skills lane for success. And you can also go to our website, www.ibgr.network, and download the show notes, which Donna so kindly has put up already yesterday. But you can do more there as well. You can actually download the show notes, but you can actually download podcasts as well. All of those you can put on. You can meet all the other show hosts and find their podcast and find when they're on air, because we're on air 24/7. But there is something else, and I'm going to put my glasses on for that, I think. Yes, it's small writing. Donna just let me inform what is now also available in the IBGR community. So if you're listening or watching, I'm just reading this because it just came up. There you go, updated all the time by our amazing support system. Now available in the IBGR community mentoring groups. So when you join the IBGR community, you're automatically added to your community of commerce. So the community of commerce is a great place to network and connect with our entire community. As I just said, there is so many of us there already. You can also join your favorite on-air talent mentoring group. Joining mentoring groups gives you access to useful tools and mentoring conversations around your specific business challenges. Join one or more mentoring groups today and start engaging with like-minded business growers and entrepreneurs. So there you have it, fresh off the press from our support team, Donna Kundi and Bill Eastman, who are always on hand to support and guide and help us. They've started this 3 seasons ago, and it's already, as I said, in 145 countries around the world. I can take the glasses off again now. The glasses come off, watch out. In this session, I just want you to have to talk a little bit about what happened to me. One event 6.5 years ago now, and it was IMC, the International Maxwell event, in August 2014, and I went there, and as I said, when you go to a networking event, if you become more intentional, you've got a better chance of achieving something. In fact, you should achieve something when you go there intentional. There is, you can't leave it to chance if you just wander in and see what happens. That's why you waste time, and that's why you get so frustrated, because nothing did happen. Now, you didn't even set the intentions. You didn't even say why you went there. But go with the intentions. I want to meet this kind of people. I want to meet these kind of clients. I want to meet whatever kind of people you need to connect with. Set an intention, and I did. When I went there from Scotland, where I am just now, and hopefully all being well, next week I should be back in South Africa. Yay! I'll be with Arthi, who is my partner, my business partner, and our fellow host, who's on in a couple hours' time here as well. So don't miss that either. But I went there with the specific intentions to find somebody in Africa I could collaborate or partner with. Now you might say that's not very specific. Now there was 3,000 people there, so to find somebody who I could collaborate or partner with, that was my intention. I didn't know a specific person, but what happened was, of course, as you know now, already I just gave the game away there, but I connected with Arthi, and we started talking. We had a shared vision. We know our purpose was the same. We already started to feel that we built that relationship as we connected on a deeper level than just, oh, here's a business card. And no, I always came home with a stack of business cards, and honestly, what I should have done was taken a photo with the business card so I know who it came from. But difficult to remember too many people. Oh, there's the sun out again. Oh, look me pale face. On radio, I now look like a real pale face. But anyway, we actually started talking about what our visions were and why we were there, and what our future should look like, and we found out we had a lot in common. So we not only that, but we kept that connection going for a long time afterwards. And we started building this connection deeper and deeper. We talked about all kinds of things, including business and what we wanted to do for entrepreneurs, what we wanted to do for leaders. And well, I'd already left my job as well and to become an entrepreneur. And Artie has never been anything but an amazing entrepreneur. She's got 3 or 4 different businesses, training companies and her own. She's now writing a book as well. But I really connected with Artie. But also very important to keep that connection going, to build the relationship. That is only the connection is at first. What happens afterwards is you need to build a relationship, which I'll certainly talk into. But the rest is history. As I said, we started the Key Leadership Institute together, and we're now building a global organization where we are positively impacting people in a variety of areas, including entrepreneurship, leadership, communication, behavior analysis, values-based leadership, coaching, training, speaking. It's wonderful to be joining forces, and we're joining forces in all kinds of different ways, in collaborations, which I've already talked more into as well in the previous one. But yeah, so that is something that happened. I set the intentions, and here we are 6 years later. It is exciting, and life is exciting even in challenging times. But as I mentioned before the break already, many people are simply wasting their time going around networking meetings, conferences and seminars, and are really becoming professional meet and greeters really. Well, this is often not because they know, but because they simply do not know how to network effectively. Now, of course, there is several reasons why nothing really happens after those sessions. One of them is lack of network and know-how, as I just said already. And also lack of communication skills. Now, this skill you can and must master. Because if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, you need to learn to communicate more effectively and better. And that includes even on networking, but how to communicate with your clients, how to communicate with partners, how to communicate with funders and all kinds of people. It needs to be effective. It needs to be better. So we need to constantly upgrade ourselves. Lack of importance of the need to network. See, especially in the sessions where you're just starting out, you're just developing your ideas and all that kind of stuff. You haven't got your doors open yet. So, and even when you first open your door, you're on your own. There's no priority. Yeah, so much else has to be done in the early phases, and no one else is doing those things but the person looking in the mirror. And it's challenging enough when you go, especially when you go from an employee to an entrepreneur. Totally different mindset, as I found out a long time ago. And I've come to terms with it a lot now, but it took me a while. And if it hadn't been for Artie, who knows where I would have been now. But lack of relationship building is another one. So we will talk about this more a little bit later, but it is also very important, and lack of discipline. See, consistent action over time compounds, as does lack of action, by the way. So to do that, you must be done. To do actually what must be done is an imperative every single day. You might have heard of the quote, if you want something that others don't have, do something that others don't do. And you know, consistency and discipline are key components of your business at any stage. So that is very important. And lack of leadership skills. Now you say, I'm only on my own, I don't need leadership skills. Self-leadership, all leadership skills begin with self-leadership. So you need to really watch and learn, because self-leadership is all about self-development. What does your growth plan look like again? Exactly. If you haven't got one, that's also a big problem. But you need to develop your leadership skills, your self-leadership. Lead yourself first. You can't give what you haven't got. So you need to learn to lead yourself. And on the next, after the break, we're also going to talk a little bit about contact spheres. Now, you might have never heard about contact spheres, but that was a list at least of many things why networking is so ineffective. But you might never have heard of a contact spheres, and I'll give you just a quick overview before the break anyway, which is coming up fairly rapidly. A contact sphere is a group of business professionals who have a symbiotic professional relationship. They are compatible, non-competitive professions, such as a lawyer, a CPA, a financial planner, and a banker. Now, if you put all these four in a room for an hour, they're going to do business together. So you maybe hide a little bit from the sun. So I hope you get that, because Each one is working with clients that have similar needs but require different services. Now, hence they're working with that symbiotic relationship. I hope that makes any sense. Another example of a contact sphere is a caterer, a florist, the photographer, and a travel agent. Now you can see how they come together because someone called this the wedding mafia. I love that term, the wedding mafia. But if one gets a referral to a wedding, then they all get the referral to the wedding. See, these professions more than most have truly learned how to work their contact spheres. So one last one. Contractors, for example. So if you have a painter, a carpenter, a plumber, a landscaper, electricians, and interior designers. You get it. It doesn't have to be 3 or 4, or it can be any amount of those that have similar interests. And you can hear in each one of these 3 I just mentioned that they have similar interests but not the same job, but that's why they need to connect with each other so they can work as a group and powerful. You go to the group, somebody need a house built. Here we are. Everybody's here. What do you need? And you can refer each other as well. I'm going to talk about that also actually in Ivan Mesner's BNI networking recommendations in the last session. But I hope you get that idea as well. So then you have relationship building is a very important point because effective networking and long-term success of your business rely on relationship building. And many entrepreneurs and business owners, especially in the early stages, they don't often, they think there's an exclusivity to that kind of stuff, that they don't develop it, they don't focus enough on it, and they are kind of struggling because they haven't built those relationships on the go. Now, already it is just about time to have a break again, and as you know, we will talk in the next session even more about networking. But if you've got any questions, if you've got any comments, just keep them coming. Like and share this because I'm going to really talk into why and how you could network effectively, including Ivan Meisner's networking formula. So don't go away and come back afterwards. Take care.